Hi, I'm Melissa with Bridge Builder Marriage Ministry, and today I'm here to talk to wives. You know, we always think that we know everything about our husbands, but the truth is we don't know very much about men after all. And so today I just want to talk to you about what the number one need of men is. Most girls, if you ask them, in fact, probably 10 out of 12 would tell you that the number one need of all men is sex. And while it is an extremely close second, it is not the number one need of men. Most men would tell you that the number one need they have in their life is to be respected. You know, respect to a man is so important that they would get into a fist fight if they thought somebody disrespected them. Or if they thought someone was disrespectful, they might completely eliminate them from their lives. And so being respectful is such an important part of a man's life and who he is. And girls, here's the problem. We all want to be respectful, but the problem is respect for girls just doesn't look the same as it does for men. Many times we're disrespectful and we don't even know it. I was probably one of the most disrespectful women you would have ever hoped to meet. I didn't know anything about being respectful. So I found some books and I read up and I talked to my husband and I talked to guys and I figured out some things that I was doing that was seriously disrespectful. You know, respect just doesn't look the same to us girls as it does to guys. So how does respect look to guys? What does it mean to be respectful? Here's a couple of suggestions that you might find helpful. One of the ways that women are disrespectful to men is in the way we talk. Now, girls, we're just not wired like guys. We don't think the same, we don't process the same, and we don't speak the same. You put 10 girls at a table, they'll all sit in a circle, they'll all talk at the same time, they'll have 10 completely unique conversations, and everyone will be fully engaged in the other one. No one will care that everybody else is talking too. No one will feel like they're not being heard. You put 10 guys at a table, that would never happen. Guys never talk over each other. One guy speaks, one guy listens. One guy waits until the other guy is through speaking before he jumps in to offer his opinions or ideas. For instance, think about a sporting event on TV. If you watch professional football, here's what you find. There's the color commentator and there's the play-by-play announcer. If you listen to a football game, you will never hear two guys talking at the same time. No matter how exciting the play is, no matter how unbelievable was whatever it was that just happened, they will never talk at the same time. The play-by-play announcer will say something. When he's done, then the color commentator will add his opinion or his thoughts about it. But they never talk at the same time. And girls, we do this all the time, and we never give it a second thought. But for our guys, it's super disrespectful to them. Another thing that you might want to think about when it comes to being respectful to your husband is just this idea of making your husband the butt of the joke. I have to be honest. My husband, Stephen, is hilarious, and he does some of the funniest things. And when he tells a story about something he's done, it is so funny that we frequently beg him to tell the same story over and over and over again. And that's just fine with him. As long as he tells the story, you see, he gets to do damage control. But when I tell the story, I will sometimes give him the opportunity to be the butt of the joke. That's super disrespectful, and I used to do it all the time, but I didn't have any idea that it wasn't okay. Another way that girls are disrespectful to guys, and this is probably one of the biggest offenders that we have as girls, and that's because we're wired with a gene that is so powerful that we don't even know that it's at work most of the time. And I call that the mom gene. You know, if we're not careful, we'll be licking our thumb and wiping our husband's face right in the middle of a restaurant. Or we'll be saying, hey, can I pluck that wayward eyebrow right here in the middle of this party? Or even worse, hey, sit up straight, mind your manners, don't talk like that. And we'll be giving correction and discipline to our husband in public. And that is super disrespectful. If we're not careful, we'll line our husband right up with the kids, we'll give them their marching orders, and we will mom them right out the door. You know what? They're our husbands. They're not our children. They're our partners. They're not somebody that needs to be mommed. And so we have to really begin to look at that. You can ask guys everywhere. None of them will admit to wanting to be mommed by their wife. They have a mom or they've had a mom, and they don't need you to be it. You see, we do all of these things and we don't even think anything about it. We're disrespectful and it never even comes to our attention because to us, it's not disrespectful. When I was learning about respectfulness, one of the ways that I figured out to decide if I was being disrespectful or not was just to ask my husband. Now, I talked to him and explained to him that I was working really hard on learning how to be respectful, and I asked him to help me. And so, from time to time, I would just say, "Hey, Steve, did that come across in any way as disrespectful to you?" And he would either say yes or no. And here's the thing. If you do that, you have to be prepared to hear, "Yes, that was pretty disrespectful, Melissa." And that's okay, because we're in a learning mode. If nobody ever tells us, how will we ever know? And so we will learn as we go along. We'll make mistakes as we go along, but have a heart to correct it. You know, when you want to learn how to do something, you don't just quit the first time somebody gives you some correction. Well, you know what? Sometimes Steve would say, "Yep, Melissa, that was pretty disrespectful." And I would always follow that up with, "How could I have said that in a way that was more respectful?" You know, respecting your husband, honoring your husband does not mean that you become a doormat. It doesn't mean that you don't have a voice. It just means that the way that you approach it is very different than maybe the way you're approaching it right now. You can learn to be respectful. You can learn more about a respectful wife and how to meet the #1 need of your husband in our book, Brick by Brick, Building a Solid Foundation for Your Marriage. It's available online at most online booksellers, such as Amazon or Barnes & Noble. Or, better yet, you can just go to our website, bridgebuildermm.org, and purchase your book there. Also, if you'd like to have some work as Stephen and I are life coaches, and maybe you'd like to do some work on your marriage, or maybe you'd like to learn how to be a better wife and be more respectful, you know what? We'd be happy to work with you. You can reach us at contact@bridgebuildermm.org. We'd love to work with you. I hope that you found that this information has been helpful to you, something that you can process and put into your toolbox of ways to be a better wife, ways to meet your need. Here's a little secret, girls. When your husband's needs are met, conflict goes way down. And not only does your conflict go down, but you draw your husband to you and you get your needs met in return. And so I want to encourage you, meet the #1 need of your husband. Learn to be a respectful, honoring wife. Learn how to show him that you love him in a respectful and kind way, and I promise you'll reap the benefits of it. We'd love to hear from you. Again, you can reach us at contact@bridgebuildermm. We'd love to hear your comments, and until we do another video, next time we'll talk about the #2 need of men, and you guessed it, girls, it's sex. But we'll talk about that later. So we hope to hear from you. Have a wonderful day.